Hey,
Wow.
Craig.
Nice to see you again, bro. Lol.
So
Hey,
the
come on.
other people that are supposed to do this with me are still not here because they're in the States. So I think they're asleep.
Oh,
Probably.
To
okay.
buy a little time, let's ask, how are you doing? How are you doing there in Belgium?
All
Probably.
right. Not too bad. How are you guys?
We're fine.
Yeah,
Good.
we're
Have the
swell.
storms calmed down?
All is well. All is
Fine.
well.
Yeah, the storms have stopped, but we're expecting a couple more for December. So
Oh.
something to watch
Hey,
out
Gavin.
for.
Hey, Gavin. Do you have any theories? Do you have any theories?
Series.
Ano ba? What bands could be on December?
Oh no. Johan should tell us.
No,
John
let's
should
keep
be the one
it a
to tell us.
secret. Anyway, okay, I will not sit here and wait for Dale
Dale.
and Amy. I'll just let Dale know we're starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome everyone again to another week, another night of listening party. Hope y'all are doing. JM, like your mic, it's echoing from you, I think. Or I think it's from Gavin. But anyway, so tonight we'll be listening to a bunch of songs from Slow Crush. I curated a playlist. It's just a couple of songs, and then we can talk to Isa, who has set aside some time to join us. Thank you so much for that. I'm super stoked
No
about
problem.
it that you did. So for anyone who hasn't been on one of these, it's not like a formal interview where I'll be the only person who gets to talk. Everyone can talk. Just unmute your mics when you want to and introduce yourselves first. And yeah, so to start everything, let's listen to one song, let's listen to something to start the show. Wait, let me get the link. Okay. So we'll start with their song Glow, which I would say puts the mosh in shoegaze. So
Yeah.
let's start it off and then we can get to talking and stuff.
Okay.
Glow
stand up and do a throwdown.
Yeah.
But I don't want to scare my cat.
Dale is here.
Oh, hey, Dale.
Finally.
Hey Dale, what's up?
Sorry I'm late. Traffic.
Traffic from
Traffic.
the room to your living room.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I was making breakfast. Sorry.
So I think Isa met Dale on the group chat. So just introducing you
Hi,
to
Isa.
him again. So yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Isa, thank you for joining us. For those who have just come in, you're tuned into the listening party, Slow Crush edition. We're with Isa, who sings and plays bass for the band. Yeah, I'm curious to start things off. How I had a question in mind. So I'm just curious how you formed in a music scene that seems to be, for me at least, I know a lot of like electronic sort of musicians based in Belgium and most of Europe. How did you find yourselves in that kind of scene? You're muted, Isa. I'm sorry. You're on mute from Discord.
Okay, sorry. I should really be better at this meeting stuff. Yeah, so the music scene hasn't always really been sort of dance driven, and I think in general globally, everything is becoming more sort of or less guitar based. So Slow Crush we started in 2016, but with the members that we had back then, we'd all known each other for a long time from playing in hardcore and punk bands and stuff since forever, since high school and stuff. So yeah, we were kind of not really sick of playing the heavier music, but I think we just thought that it was time for a change. So that's when we started Slow Crush. Actually, Yella, the big guitar player, and I, we used to play in a doom band just before this.
Shit,
Yeah, our singer, it wasn't working out with our singer, so we were like trying to continue that, but we had to figure something out for the vocals, and so yeah, the initial idea was that I give it a try, but I just can't grunt or like growl convincingly, so we had to find something else. And then yeah, we started playing stuff that was more sort of indie based, because that's what we'd wanted to do for a long time already, but just never had found the right timing or opportunity. So that's pretty much how we started.
So it was like, so you had this huge jump from like hardcore to, so was it like after hardcore you mentioned you went to this like indie thing? By indie, what sort of indie are you talking about? Or was it like the shoegaze sort of sound you have now?
Yeah, so the beginnings of Slow Crush were maybe a little bit more punky. When we started out, because yeah, this is the first band that I've really sung in, I had to find my style, and seeing as grunting and screaming wasn't it, I turned to other kind of bands. So I think at the beginning we were listening to a lot of Pity Sex. So I think I developed my vocal style sort of based on how Britney sings. And I think you can hear that in like songs like Dizzy and stuff from our Ease EP, that it's a little bit more punky.
Yeah.
And then so that was actually just recorded as a sort of demo to test the waters and see how it would go. But we were happy with the results, so we released it as an EP. And then we just sort of evolved from there to what you can hear on Aurora.
Cool. That's interesting. To be honest, I think apart from no, you're the only Belgian band that I've ever had, got to speak to. So it's interesting to hear, I guess, kind of your side of the world, because I think at this point, shoegaze is such an American thing. So I didn't even know you're Belgian at first. So that was cool when I found out.
I'm not really. I mean, well, okay, the band, yeah, we're based in Belgium, but
yeah.
I am.
You were born in Manchester, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So I'm British. I have recently got my Belgian passport, so now I'm dual nationality. But my mother is also Filipina, so thank you for bringing me home.
Hello, kababayan, mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
Don't make it too complex. My Tagalog isn't good.
It's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, being British, I used to listen to a lot of Britpop when I was growing up. So like the indie kind of Britpop and then shoegaze, that all sort of mashed into each other in the 90s sort of thing. And yeah, so yeah, I think shoegaze is kind of, right now it's very US centered, but like back in the 90s it was also very, very British. So
the best export now. One of the best exports of the United Kingdom. So yeah, if anyone wants to say something, ask something to Isa here, unmute your microphones, introduce yourselves, and feel free to say something. Otherwise, we can move on to the second song and compose ourselves first, because I'm internally freaking out right now. So I am a huge fan.
Aren't we all?
Oh, Miggy's here. Happy birthday. He's
whose
deaf.
birthday is it?
Migu.
Happy birthday.
His
Happy
speakers
birthday.
are turned off. I don't know.
Am I missing a whole chat session here? I still have to figure this Discord thing out.
There's no chat,
Walkie-talkie chat.
but you can check out Walkie Talkie. Some people write stuff there once in a while.
Okay.
Right now it's quiet. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, we can listen to a song first, and maybe we can talk a little bit more after. Does that sound good? That sounds good to me. Does that sound good to everyone? So yeah, Isa talked about their first EP, which was Ease. So we'll listen to a song from that EP, which I really like, called Big Lip. And yeah, we can talk about the EP a bit after the song.
You're starting with the heavy ones.
It's all about the heavy ones here. Sorry, Dale.
It's all right. It's all good.
He needs to wake up still. So
Yeah, I still need to like have my cup of coffee. So
Gonna start throwing down there. We got Big Lip by Slow Crush from their EP Ease. Let's rock.
Thank
Yes.
You can
Well,
tell it's
That
a shoegaze.
ending. Cool.
I was going to say, you can tell it's a shoegaze if the feedback goes all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's some part of the music.
Yeah.
So, Isa, when did you move to Belgium from Manchester?
I moved here when I was 9 years old, so a very long time ago.
So even when you were young, when you were younger, I guess growing up in Manchester, you were still listening to or were you aware of the Manchester scene that I mean, it's
Manchester.
it's a very legendary
yeah,
legendary place, the land of the Smiths, Joy Division, New Order,
yeah, and
Stone
actually,
Roses.
so yeah, where Ian Curtis kind of came from, that's not too far away from where I grew up. But of course,
Whoa,
it was
whoa.
I was too young to really have known anything about that. But then, of course, like growing up, then you sort of reconnect, I suppose, with your roots, and so yeah, Joy Division and New Order were also on a lot of my mixtapes. But yeah, as I said, it was only like in my teenage years that I sort of got to know about Britpop and the Manchester scene and stuff. So yeah, kind of like the sort of growing up discovery type thing that go on. But I went to a British school over here, so that's where I suppose my connection to the UK sort of could continue. I never went to a Belgian school here, so I think that sort of helped maintain the ridiculous British culture.
and the accent. I think that's one of the most obvious things we could pick up.
You haven't lost the accent.
Well, I have, because I don't have a northern accent anymore. Because the British school that I went to, it was very international. So yeah, yeah. So I got the Manchester kicked out of me pretty much. And now I work for an American company, so they can't understand if I speak with a British accent. So I kind of yeah, I don't know. I'm a lingual chameleon. I adapt.
That's great. That's great. How about the scene in Belgium? So when you moved to Belgium, 9 years old, growing up, you sort of like look back into your growing years in Manchester and all those other bands that was based there. But then were you also, or how were you influenced by the the local Belgium scene?
So I guess I only really got to know the local Belgian scene sort of in my late teens. because it was a sort of British international school, we sort of kept to the same sort of groups of friends, and we only started really going out and discovering like the Belgian culture or pubs really when we were of drinking age, or it's allowed us to sort of go out on Friday night and get ridiculously drunk. So it was when I was about 18 or so that we started going to shows from local bands, and that was mostly sort of the hardcore punk shows. So that's actually where I met the rest of the Slow Crush crew. It sort of it was really pretty much hardcore until like mid-20s or late 20s, I suppose. But yeah, kind of in and out of that sort of scene. I guess everyone sort of grows up after going to high school or college and finds other interests. And then there was a time when I didn't really play music so much, but then picked it up again because you get bored. And yeah, that's it, kind of thing.
So you got to play in a bunch of hardcore or punk bands, was it?
Yep.
Are there any bands that you've put out demos?
Yeah, but probably none that you would know.
I'd still like to know. I'm still curious. Any bands that you would care to mention for us here?
I don't know. I don't know if the rest. Well, actually, okay. So you can look up Third Season or In Arm's Reach, and you'll probably see a few familiar faces.
Third Season, In Arm's Reach?
In Arm's Reach, yeah. Okay. So they were two kind of melodic hardcore bands where we released stuff from. Just don't listen to it, just look at the pictures.
I'll give it a listen still. It'll be interesting to hear.
I didn't sing.
Okay, but still, so how did the jump from hardcore to shoegaze work for, at least for Slow Crush? How did you sort of come up with, 'cause I can hear the hardcore sound in your music, but how did that sort of work out for you? I mean, how'd you think about it? Like, how did you just sit down during practice and let's do shoegaze, that'd be cool? Or was it kind of this accident? Or
I think it was always an idea to play something a little lighter or a little light-hearted, but then not. I don't know. I think it's just a kind of nice combination of the heaviness of the guitars, so you can still have that wall of sound while having a more vulnerable side, so brought by the vocals. So it really is about finding a balance for us, and it just made sense when we gave it a try, just because of my singing style just fits and just fits naturally to that kind of singing. So I think it was always an idea, but at the time when we tried it out, it just all made sense. So it was like just sort of fate bringing that moment where we had some free time to try new things, and it worked.
Yeah, I think it's a great blend of light and dark and heavy and soft. Especially that's very I guess obvious in your album Aurora. It's a perfect combination, I guess I would say.
If anyone wants to talk, by the way, I mean, Dale and I don't have to do the talking, and
you
Isa
guys
doesn't
can
have
ask
to
questions.
do. Don't be shy.
Let's see.
The silence is deafening.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Introduce yourselves first, by the way.
Okay.
Well, I'm Rosanne. Hi, Roseanne.
Roseanne pala yun. Sorry. I didn't know that was Roseanne.
I'm so shy. Yeah, hi Isa. It's my first time to talk to you.
Yeah, we've chatted a lot online, but never in person or semi in person.
Roseanne got this thing together, by the way, for everyone's knowledge.
Mhm.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just curious about the Glow Fuzz because
The Glow Fuzz
I've
pedal?
heard that. Yeah, can you talk a bit the pedal?
Yeah, so we developed a Glow Fuzz pedal, and I'm going to see if there's one close by that I can just grab. So maybe I'll grab it for while you play the next track.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we actually, it was between Ease and Aurora. So like we've learnt a lot over the last 2.5 years about how we want to sound and what equipment you need to get that sound. So we've gone through a lot of pedals and a lot of guitars and a lot of amps, just trying to find the perfect sound for us. And before we went to record Aurora, Yella, the big guitar player, he was trying to look for the perfect effects pedal, but unfortunately it wasn't made anymore. So he got a friend of his to build one. So it's based off the Screddy Mayo, and I think that was used by Billy Corgan a lot on Pumpkin's albums. So yeah, that's sort of the story behind the Glow Fuzz. It was built for Aurora, and we used like a very, very early prototype of that to record the whole of the Aurora record. And yeah, we auctioned one off for our friend's cat shelter. And that was the actual pedal that we recorded the album with. And then Yella had a second one made. And then we just kept on getting sort of questions about it, about how we get our sound. And so we thought, okay, why don't we just make a limited run of these pedals for the people who would be interested in getting it. And we did. And they sold out in 3 minutes flat. And so we had to do a second run. And then a third. So we've probably made our friend very angry at us because he's sitting in his basement currently making little pedals and breaking his hands because they're so tiny parts and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's all part of the fun.
You should bring some if you ever get to go to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try. Somebody has to make a pedal builder Werner a big cake, and then maybe he'll make some more.
So, yeah. Cool. Thank you for... Does anyone else want to ask something? Because I want to ask about... If anyone doesn't want to say anything, I have a question that could be a long response.
Oh, okay. Let me drink something first.
Okay. No, it's not hard. I mean, because you just put out a single. Well, it was 2 songs, but it's a single, I guess. Recently, could you tell us a bit about that? Because it's kind of I didn't even know that you were putting something out, and kind of caught me by surprise. And it's kind of rare for bands to just put out like 2 songs and that's it. So what was that? Are these like leftovers from Aurora or
you mean the Real Pale Skin 7-inch?
Yeah.
Real and Pale Skin,
yeah. So I mean, like, after we recorded Aurora, we sort of started working on songs for album 2. And yeah, Real is something that we had ready at the time, and we thought, well, with all the touring that was planned for 2020, but unfortunately got cancelled, we were only planning to hit the studio for album 2 around September, October of this year. So we thought, okay, that'll be quite a long wait before we release a second album. And we had a few tracks that we wanted to try out in the studio, again, to sort of develop the sound and find the right sound and techniques for recording before we did the full-blown album. So we went to the studio in, I think it was November. Yeah, just like sometime around this time last year to record these two songs, Real and Pale Skin. And I think we recorded a third one as well. Again, it was kind of a demo take sort of thing, just to figure things out. But then again, it was so, we were happy with the results, so we thought, why don't we release it as a 7-inch? And seeing as it would be a long stretch of time before the second album would come, it's something to sort of tide people over so that they don't get bored of listening to Aurora or Ease. And
I'm not bored. Don't worry about that.
and also wanted to, because we know like 7 inches, they're not so popular, I suppose, for people to buy unless people are crazy collectors. And then even then, it's a hard sell sometimes. But we thought that the kind of story behind the lyrics of the songs, especially Pale Skin, it deals with like people that have had struggles in their life, struggles with addiction, struggles with homelessness. And so we wanted to be able to donate part of the proceeds of that 7-inch to some homeless organizations in Belgium. So one of them, it's called Douche Flux, and they help the homeless out by providing showers for them, providing lockers that they can store their stuff while they kind of take some time for themselves and just sort of try and get the help that they need. So they also help with some therapy for these people, trying to kind of help them learn trades that would perhaps help them out and help get them out of that situation. And of course, food, helping to provide them with food and other things, and shelter in the winter, because now it's getting quite cold. So and especially in Corona times, it's not easy for these people. And then the second organization that we donate to is called Bruxelles. So it's kind of a play on the city name Brussels.
Brussels.
Yeah, so it's spelled Bruzzelle, and Elle in French means she. So it's sort of an organization that helps females or people with periods, pretty much, provide them with some period protection. So sorry, guys.
That's cool.
So
that's
I mean,
great,
it's
actually,
just,
that you guys are doing it. So.
yeah, it's something like it seems like such a thing, but for people on the streets, it's hard to maintain dignity if these simple things you just don't have the money to spend on. So like if it's a choice between buying a sanitary pad and buying food for the day, I think that your choice is simple.
Yeah.
Especially for the women out there that have children and are trying to provide for their family. It's something so small that a lot of people take for granted can really be sort of detrimental for people in precarious situations. So I hope that answered your question.
We can talk about this a bit further, but right now I think we should listen to your latest, the 7-inch. If anyone doesn't have anything else to ask, we can listen to Real and Pale Skin. It's going to be a bit of a long break to listen to a couple of songs. So,
okay, I'll grab the pedal.
All right, so we got Real and Pale Skin, and then we can resume and after these two songs. Let's rock and roll. Mark, I just wanted to note that it's nice to, I can see somehow that you're a political band, and I think in the world of shoegaze, it's an important thing
Yeah, I'd have
And-
to agree with Johan there. Yeah, we need more political bands with
Yeah,
whatever's
and-
happening in the world right now. Yes.
And I don't think, I mean, it doesn't have to always be in your lyrics or anything, but I think just as a band and as people, we are, I think our main goal is to be compassionate and empathetic. And I think that speaks more in your actions than what you write in your lyrics. So, and our lyrics are about empathy and are about sort of bringing to light what somebody else might be going through instead of only like talking about your own feelings or just sort of just sort of opening up the conversation that you're not alone, and you don't have to be. You just have to talk about it and find the right people to talk to. And so I think, you know, we try to bring that across as people too. And yeah, I don't know. I hope that's how it comes.
All right.
We got a question from a user here, Busty. Their name's Busty. On the topic of pedals, since we talked about the Glow Fuzz pedal, what they're asking, if there's a type of pedal effect that the band can go without, what would that be?
I have no idea. Well, it definitely won't be a fuzz. And I think, luckily, like, behind me, we've got all of the pedal boards set up, so I could probably go and have a look. But, so the question is what kind of effect we can do without?
I think that's what they wrote. Or at least what pedals would you not be able to go out?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't
whichever, I guess.
For bass, I can only really speak on bass because I'm not too in tune with what the guitars are doing because they change pedals every weekend. But for bass, I mean, my go-to pedal is Sans Amp. So the Sans Amp is really a great sort of equalizer. So that and because it's got that DI connection, it's really easy to hook up to the PA if there are any instances where sound is going to be an issue. Like if it's going to be too bassy in the venue, then it can just be plugged into the PA and then come out through there. And then my other go-to pedal, apart from a tuner, of course, is a pedal by the company Two Notes, and it's called the Le Bass. It's also got a cab simulator built into there. So again, it's got that DI connection, so it can go straight to the PA as well. We've had some instances. I don't know what's wrong with wiring in the UK, but we had a tour where my amp blew up after the first show in the UK, and then somebody else's amp, and that also blew up. So those two pedals, like having that DI connection, have definitely saved my ass on multiple occasions. So for bass, those are my two go-tos.
Okay.
How about on the topic of gear, when you go out on tour in Europe and you've gone on tour in the US, what amp did you bring with you? Which bass amp did you bring?
I have a Fender Bassman 500, which is very, very light. It weighs nothing, so I'm very thankful for that. But that's really like a really good sound in combination with my pedals, and also in combination with the speaker cabinets that I use. So I use some Mesa Boogie speaker cabinets. And so that Fender Bassman Mesa Boogie combo is it's perfect sound. It's got the crunch, it's got the body, and so that's really good. I have been actually if I move my head, you can see my bass stack behind me. So I've been trying out the orange. Don't ask me what model it is. I'll have to go and check that during the next musical break. But yeah, I've been trying out that orange. And then I also have a dark glass, which is also really, really tiny. I've got a dark glass amp. And that was the one that blew up in the UK. So I'm not bringing that to the UK anymore. But that is also like, yeah. But that is, I mean, that, because like dark glass electronics, they do a lot of effects as well. And I actually recorded through a dark glass vintage pedal on Aurora. So really, like that amp, you can manipulate it so that you've got the effects that you need all in one little tiny box. So that's really good if you don't want to break your back on the road. But yeah, that has been demoted to the rehearsal room for the minute, just because of its unreliability on the road. Yeah.
Busty would like to thank you. They say hopefully.
Thank you for the question.
They also say hopefully no amps are harmed during your next tour.
I hope so too.
So does anyone else have something else to ask?
I want to say cheers to all the people who are cheersing.
Cheers. Cheers.
Hey.
Get some beer.
I do have a question about I guess your inspiration in playing bass, or do you have any influences, when you I guess when you started playing bass guitar?
So yeah, when I started playing bass guitar, I was very, very young. I think it was probably about maybe 14 or 15 when I picked up the bass. And my favorite bands at the time were Blur and Silverchair, which is embarrassing.
Don't worry about that.
So yeah, they were kind of like the inspirations for picking up a musical instrument in general. And yeah, being half Filipina, music was always around in the house. So my mom was always singing, and we have a karaoke machine, and and my mom and dad actually met because of a guitar. So my dad, he was starting up a business in the Philippines. Well, he was asked by his company to start up a business in the Philippines, and he went on a business dinner together with my uncle. And so my dad started talking to my aunt, who is my mom's sister, saying that he could play guitar. And so my aunt said, I'll call up my brother, and then he can bring a guitar to the restaurant. But my uncle wasn't available at the time, so my mom brought the guitar to the restaurant, and so that's how they met.
Bringing a guitar to a restaurant, hella Filipino.
yeah, right. And yeah, so like music has always been part of my upbringing. And yeah, I had a really tiny little acoustic guitar that my dad taught me to play when I was young. And yeah, it was, I don't know, I think I kind of lost interest, I guess, when I was growing up. But then when you're in your teenage years and like you find friends that are also into sort of alternative music, everyone wants to start playing in a band, but everyone can play guitar. So I had to pick up another instrument because nobody could play bass. Everyone wants
to play guitar, yeah.
Exactly. Everyone wants to be Johnny Greenwood or whatever. Yeah, so I helped my friends out. I just picked up another instrument. I thought, yeah, it's 4 strings, so how difficult could it be? So that's why I picked up the bass. And I think the first song I accidentally started playing was Sabotage from the Beastie Boys. So that like that little bass lick, I was like I was like playing it and I was thinking, hey, that sounds really familiar. And then only like an hour later I was like, oh my god,
You just accidentally played it.
I can't play it anymore probably. I haven't tried. But yeah, so and that kind of stuck with me. So it just feels right, and I think the size of the instrument, like being half Filipina, I'm not very big, but the size of this massive guitar makes me feel like secure. It's like it's like a safety blanket sort of thing. And then also just the sound, the body, it just really it just feels right. It's like something that you can feel through your soul.
It does give you power, I think,
Yeah, and also playing bass in hardcore punk bands and then being next to a huge massive stack, I found it cool that I could just hide behind it and nobody would see me. Which unfortunately now isn't the case. But yeah.
You got to be up front and center now.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, that's my story.
All right, interesting.
Before we go to the next couple of songs.
What's that? Oh, hi, chicken! Roseanne, did you see my cat when I brought her up? I don't know where she is now. I think she's escaped.
Yeah, I want to see your cat.
Oh, I'll have to go and find her again.
Maybe
Oh, hi, little kitty! What's your name? Oh.
We got two cats too, but they're in the garage.
The cat's right there by the door. Before we move on to the next couple of songs, the Ghoul would like to ask a question, which they wrote on the chat. What bands got you into shoegaze? It's something I forgot to ask, but thank you for asking this question, the Ghoul.
The Ghoul.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, sort of 90s indie. I mean, yeah, shoegaze was sort of dominant in the 90s British indie scene, I suppose. Like bands like Ride have been around forever, and Slow Dive, of course. And but I know like a lot of people sort of say that we're very much inspired by Slow Dive, but to be honest, that's not really the case. I mean, like we knew of the band, of course. But the time that we were starting up Slow Crush, we were listening to the more fresh or recent sort of revivals of the shoegaze genre, and not necessarily being like the very typical shoegazy bands like Pity Sex. The only thing shoegazy about them, I suppose, is the vocals, the soft vocals. But otherwise, it's just sort of very indie or alternative. And so I started like with that, and then another band that we to a lot was Adventures. Adventures with members of Code Orange, like pretty much Code Orange, but just softer.
Right.
Cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that was kind of how we sort of started up. Yeah.
Cool. If anyone has anything else to say, we got comments. Adventures is the bomb from Josh.
I have a favor, but there's this
okay.
Yeah, there's this meme on the PMC group on Facebook and Discord. It's a copy pasta thing, and we would love you to recite this very lovely very lovely quote from the PMC people. I'm gonna be sending it over at Walkie Talkie.
Oh God. Let me
gonna
try
have
to
to-
figure that out.
It's
They've made people do this.
this one here. Yeah, it's this one. If you're one that listens to, you can if you could, we would love you to recite this lovely quote.
Which is it coming still? I found Walkie Talkie finally.
Yeah.
It's here at,
Do I have to scroll
yeah,
down or I have to scroll up? Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
This one here.
Alright.
If you ever find someone.
If you ever find someone that listens to Slow Crush, almost obsessed with the love, I can't speak. All right, hold on. Rewind. If you ever find someone that listens to Slow Crush almost obsessively, give that person a hug, because the people that relate to that music have been through hell and are probably still there. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you're not still in hell.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you very
welcome.
much. Thank you.
All right, and
I'm
with that,
I'm glad I found Walkie Talkie.
yeah, with that we can listen to a couple more, talk a little bit, and I'm aware. I think Isa, you have like until 5. There, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's almost midnight for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not a problem. Shows here end at 2 a.m., so midnight is early for us. So.
Okay. All right. Then
Yeah.
pour yourself another drink and buckle in.
So yeah, we haven't listened to anything from Aurora the album yet, so let's listen to a couple. We can listen to Tremble and then one of my favorites, Aid and Abet. And yeah, pour yourselves a drink. Take a break.
Coffee.
Get your cats or something. And,
Yes, get your cats, please.
and we'll see each other in probably 10 minutes.
All right.
Enjoy. Yes, I love that song so much.
Thank you,
Brilliant.
guys.
Brilliant.
So, I had a question. I forgot. I got distracted by my cat. Thank you for showing your
What was he
cats, by
trying
the
to
way.
eat? What was he trying to eat?
I opened a pack of crisps. Crisps.
If it isn't obvious yet, everyone here loves cats.
Of course.
Cats are the shoegaze animals.
Not me.
So, yeah, I'm curious about, I guess, since we've listened to a couple of tracks off of Aurora now, what's your songwriting process like? And then how does that add up when you head to the studio? Like, do you write your songs in the studio, or is it like you prepare and then you go in the studio? Do you work with a producer that sort of forms the songs with you? Like, how did everything lead to Aurora in terms of writing and production?
Yeah, so we don't. I mean, we prepare the songs beforehand before we hit the studio. I think we're lucky enough to have a lot of material to be able to record demos as soon as we write something. So that is really the kind of process to songwriting for us. That as soon as there's an idea, we try and record it as quickly as possible to keep that spontaneity as well. So most of the time, when you write something, like there are small imperfections that actually eventually make it onto the album or onto the official recording, because I think if you keep playing songs over and over and over again, then it sort of loses a little bit of that magic that you might have had at the very beginning. So, I mean, of course, you're always trying to improve and perfect things, but perfection isn't always like all that, I suppose. So that's why we try to possible as soon as the idea sort of comes up, just to be able to kind of to re-listen to that initial feeling and the initial emotion and try and recreate that in the studio finally when we get there. So yeah, it really is having a guitar-driven idea most of the time, and then we get our drummer in and get them to play drums over it, and then we just work on building up the layers. So that's usually how we work, and then it ends up with the lyrics going on top. And then because we've got that sort of robust demo, it makes it easy for us not to forget, because we're getting older and it's not always easy to remember things from rehearsal to rehearsal. So having that recording is definitely very, very helpful, just to keep our memories fresh of the songs that we're playing. So yeah, that's what we're up to right now. We're just sort of replaying those recordings and just sort of learning everything by muscle memory, getting ready to hit the studio in January. And I realize it's getting really dark in here. I think I should turn on some lights.
Joining us in the nighttime.
Yeah.
So there's a new Slow Crush album coming out, hopefully in the coming year?
Sometime next year, yeah. So we'll hit the studio in January, and yeah, hopefully it'll be released later the year.
And then hopefully you'll get to tour maybe here in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, Johan, you're fixing that, right?
I'm
Slow Crush live at most.
We got you.
Any memorable I guess interesting touring memories that you'd like to share?
Oh, so many.
Like how was it here in the States? I know that you guys also played part-time punks in LA. I've been there too, and it's such an insane
yeah, that was
thing to
That
go
was
to.
crazy.
Yeah.
So whereabouts do you live, Dale?
I live in the San Francisco Bay Area in Northern
Okay.
California. So,
Yeah.
but Los Angeles is like about a 6-hour drive, I guess, 7 hour drive.
Yeah.
So yeah, several years ago, went to Part Time Punks, and it was an insane experience. That was amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, like Mike been following us from the very beginning. Him and oh my goodness, his name. I think the wine has driven his name out of my brain. But
Cheers.
Uncle, oh no, oh my goodness. But the guy from Dreamgaze Fest in Austin.
In Austin.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, Dreamgaze and Part Time Punks were following us from the very, very beginning. And they were trying to get us over since like the Ease EP. And we were very, very appreciative of that. But yeah, and in the Ease era, it just didn't seem like the right time. So then when Aurora was out, then we thought, okay, fuck it, let's just go. And we had no idea how the States would react to us. And knowing that in the States it's generally harder as a band to kind of get by. I mean, in Europe we're very, very spoiled. Like for every show, there's always like free hospitality. Like they prepare you food and then they give you a place to stay. But we were aware that the US is very much not like that.
That's true.
So we thought, okay, you know what, put our own money into it, and then if it's a loss, then we just see it as a road trip with friends and we have a good time. But it blew our minds how many people came out to the shows, how many people bought merch, how many people were like absolute fanboys and girls. Like there were queues for signatures after the show, and it was just insane. Like I saw somebody comment after one of our shows that they wanted to snag a piece of my hair and chop my finger off, and I was like, oh my goodness, oh. So
well, Americans are crazy. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm hoping that was a joke, but it's still a bit weird.
Yeah, that's scary.
Expect a long line for vinyl signatures if you ever get to go to the Philippines, though. That's a given.
Oh, have we lost you? Have I lost you?
Nope.
What's that? Sorry.
Is it my connection?
Oh,
I
no.
think my connection was bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
we can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
You're fine.
Okay, that's fine.
I was just saying, expect a queue for signatures if ever you get to go to Manila. It's a given here.
Please. Yeah, and we really, really want stage to play in Manila. Like I have a lot of family over there, so yeah, we'd love to go over there for shows instead of just visiting relatives.
Have you been to the Philippines, Isa?
Yeah, I actually went. So I think I've been 3 times in my lifetime. Once when I was a baby, so I can't remember any of that. And then another time, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. And maybe I went back when I was about 13. And then recently, I went back last year in January, 2019.
Fun fact, Roseanne told me about you visiting here, and I put up a show because I was like, maybe I thought maybe you'd like to check out a show, so I put up a show, but you couldn't come. But it's okay. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, it was a bit tough because so last year when I visited, it's because my British father, he passed away in 2018. But my mom and her family, they have like a family burial plot in Manila. Well, I think it's in Cavite. So we buried my dad there. So it was a little bit of it was a tough time. But of course, like because it's not every year that you can go across the world. And because it was the first time as an adult that I was visiting the Philippines, I wanted to do some exploring as well. So I did a bit of island, and then ended with the funeral, and yeah. But I would have loved to have spent more time in Manila and meet. But yeah, next time.
Hopefully.
no sad
Where'd you
times.
go island hopping? Where'd you go island hopping? I'm curious. Did you hear that
Oh
question?
no, what's wrong with my connection?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are we good now?
Can you guys still see and hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
good.
You're all frozen.
We can hear you though. If you can hear us, can you hear us? Hello? Hola.
Oh no.
I think she can't hear us. But
Okay.
we can hear.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm back.
You're
Okay,
back.
My
she's back.
computer
All right.
piece of shit. Sorry.
I was just
I'm
asking.
gonna turn on some light.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just asking, where'd you go island hopping?
I can't reach the light. There you go.
Don't worry about it.
Oh. All right, that's a bit better. Where did I go island hopping? I went to. I can't remember.
That's fine.
I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look through the feed. Oh my god. No, but I went to. Hang on. I didn't go to Cebu, but I went to the. Come on, help me out here.
Where's that? Sorry.
Palawan, right?
Yeah, Palawan. I went to Palawan, and I also went to Siquijor.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so my yeah, my family, my mom was very that I would get killed or something by witches, unknowing that I am one. But yeah. So I went to Palawan. We scootering through Palawan, and yeah, it was just really cool to see different parts of the Philippines and different the different sort of cultures, I suppose, within such a small country, but the islands, every way of living and different sort of style. So
hopefully the next time you come back, you'll get to check out the local scenes, local music scenes. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, that we missed out on, unfortunately.
We can eat at the vegan restaurant.
Yes, please.
It's gonna be a slow crush vegan tour if they go here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Please feed us. We're underfed.
There's a lot of vegan
That's
Filipino food you'll love here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. When I see Roseanne's on all of the food, I get jealous.
If anyone wants to ask something, y'all are quiet. Come on.
I'm curious if Isa can, if she knows a few Tagalog words.
Do I know any Tagalog words? Oh dear. So like the first word Tagalog.
What's that? Sorry.
I know what my name means. So Isa, and actually I don't know. I think So my cousins at the time, they were very good at sort of bullying me, or they were biting me a lot when I was little. I don't know why. I don't know if I look, but and so one of the first words actually that I learned in Tagalog was bakla, and I don't know why.
Oh no.
I don't know if my cousins calling me. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I can count to 4, I think. So yeah, too big. I know that. So I know how not to dehydrate in the Philippines. Are there any words that you'd like to teach me? And of course, salamat. I know that.
Wait, there's one thing, because you're a musician, you have to know. It's the expression, nice set pups. You have to know how to say that, especially if you go here. We say that it's like the saying like nice set dude. It's nice set pups.
Okay.
If we have like travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice set pups.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
When Turnover played here in 2017, we taught them that expression, and they kept on saying it. It's so funny.
But yeah, it's not so much different anywhere else in the world. I think so I guess the word pups is in Belgium, in certain areas of Belgium, dialects all around, but that sort of is quite similar to puet, which in puet I know what that means. So and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong in Dutch, in the Dutch version, but that's like dude. So yeah. Dude, but same thing.
Papi. It's like papi.
Papi. Yeah.
Papi.
Yeah.
Nice set pups.
Set pups.
So is that
Yeah, we usually have that here.
So that's also universal then.
Yeah. Well, no, if you ever go here, no one would dare borrow gear from you, but they'd probably borrow from whoever opened for you. So,
well, we'll probably be borrowing gear from you guys, right?
So you'll have to know how to do that. Like if you come here and an opening band would play, you have to ask, like, you have to say, like, nice set pops, peram cymbals. Like, nice set pops, can I borrow your cymbals?
So I think actually. I think cymbals are probably one of the things, because the combination of soft vocals and all of the rest of the noise, and because I'm also so short, like my mouth is about level of the cymbals. So we actually do have quite sort of special cymbals that get rid of a certain frequency, so that they don't interfere with the vocals too much. So those are I think they're the Siljan FRX line, if anyone's interested. They have little holes in they have little, and they get rid of all of the that mess up.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Nice that Pat's gonna borrow. Thank you.
Okay.
So does anyone have anything else to ask?
It's more personal. I'm curious what Gigi and DC is doing right now.
Oh, Gigi and Ski. Yeah, Ski has escaped somewhere. Skitty is like, I don't know. I think she showing. She escaped my cuddle and went and found a warm place to sleep. Yeah, she fell. But Gigi, he's like a fat ginger cat, and I think he's playing outside right now, and he should be playing. Yeah, he should be playing more, because I took them to the vet yesterday, and the vet told me he was. So he has to go diet,
Hmm.
which I feel so bad about. But he's a massive cat. Like he's like
Yeah,
this
I saw.
big.
Yeah, I saw your story on Instagram. It was, oh my god, it's a long cat.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's you can't. They'll just keep complaining for. But yeah, you can't give them. But no, he's okay. He's okay. He's a huge cat. And yeah, I think it was just because he was like when he was at the vet in the little tray, and he really took up the whole tray. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. So I think it's because he's so big and he was trying to make himself. The vet like couldn't find his heartbeat because all of his fur was just condensed into space. And then she weighed him, and he weighed 7 kilos. 100. I don't know how. I don't know.
Oh my
Do you count in
God,
pounds or in
wow.
kilos?
Oh my
We're in
god.
kilos here. So
Pounds here,
Kilos?
though.
Okay, yeah.
So that's
So,
about 14 pounds. It's a
yeah,
big
he's a
cat.
big.
It's
He's a big,
cat.
but he's like a big boy. He's really really like if he's all
Chunky.
stretched out. No, not so chunky.
Big
That's-
chunk.
Don't fat shame my cat. No, he's really long, but like stretched out. Then he is like he comes up to my rib cage. Like his feet will be at my toes, and then his like his arms will be at my rib cage. So he's a big boy. So yeah, he looks a little bit like your cat, Johan.
this is
Oh, shoot.
Mimolette. She was a street cat and she moved
Oh.
in. She forced
Aw,
herself into
that's
our
so
house.
cute.
So
Aw.
Hi, Mimi.
But yeah, so Gigi he weighs 200, and Skeeter is half his weight, and also
Oh,
half his
man.
size. So it's yeah.
anyway, it's almost 5 there. I don't want to keep you. So are you good there, or how's everyone
I'm
doing?
good. Yeah. What are you
I-
drinking?
We're fine here.
I'm drinking soju.
Soju.
Beer.
Yeah, Korean drink.
Ah,
What are
I
you
wish I could
drinking? Wine?
drink with you guys, but I'm only 3 years. So that sucks.
He is.
You can't drink.
Yeah, I'm still 15.
Mark, you better Mark, you better drink your milk.
Ha, very funny, Gavin.
hey, there's nothing.
Yeah, happy birthday, Miggy. Miggy.
Happy birthday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Anyone got anything to ask? Because I
Um,
think I've covered all my bases. So.
I do have a question. Since there's not much there's only a few Belgium or bands or artists I've listened to in Belgium.
Which ones?
Mostly like old stuff like Burnt Holler.
Mhm.
They're like a avant-garde pop band from Brussels. It's I think they had like a sort of like an independent hit in 1983. My
Okay.
suitor. So yeah, it's a band called Burnt Holler. I really like them, and then there's also this other band called Antenna, but they're like French Belgian, I believe, led by Isabelle Antenna, and she's more like electro samba, new jazz, electro pop type of artist. And another one I think that I know from the 80s was The Names. It's mostly post punk.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like this label based in I think it's in Brussels too. Le Disco du Crépuscule. So
Okay.
I think I murdered that the name of the label, but they're sort of like related to Factory Benelux, which is
Okay.
like mostly released a lot of Factory records back in the 80s and 90s, I think. But that's all I know about Belgium. So
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to check out recent bands, probably something that would go down well with this group is a band called
could you repeat that again?
New Moon.
New Moon. Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah, they're also kind of sort of the shoegaze vibe, and like their first album is very much more shoegaze. Their second release is maybe a little bit more leaning towards Britpop, so it's more sort of Oasis-y. But yeah, they released I think they released their album earlier this year. So it's kind of unfortunate that they weren't able to tour it as much as they would have liked. But yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, you should check them.
Okay, I'll check that out. Yeah, New Moon.
And another big sort of alternative a band. So they're also like from our region of Belgium.
I'm sorry,
but
what was the name again?
Brutus.
Brutus. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I love Brutus. I didn't know they were
Yeah.
Belgian. Holy shit!
Yeah. They're Belgian. It's a 3-piece. Stephanie on vocals and drums. So that's already very impressive. But they're also like they all in our area, and they used to come to our shows a long time ago. Before we were Slow Christian. So yeah, they we've known them since they were little kids, pretty much. Yeah,
Right.
and they're doing quite well. So they're on Sergeant House. And yeah, of course, like with every band, I suppose this year, it's been tough not being able to play shows, but they were able to play a couple of shows earlier this year in some outdoor areas, still allowed to have a crowd. But yeah, it's a very weird time. Like at the moment in Belgium, it's pretty much total lockdown. Restaurants, venues are closed. Like any sort of opportunities to gather have been sort of terminated at the moment. But because the shows were so limited, the amount of people that could play, the amount of people that could just participate, it's not really been very, very interesting as to play live shows this year. So I think a lot of Belgian bands turn sort of live stream, finding other ways to get their music than them playing actual live shows because the restrictions are so hard, I suppose. So yeah.
Well, we can't wait for 2020 to end, really. It's such a terrible year. Yeah. Let's see. I guess I have one more question. What album, what record made the biggest impact on you as a musician? Or albums, you know?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one because, I think in your lifetime, I think there are albums that touches you on a personal level. I feel like as a human being, you're constantly evolving, and so it's hard for me to sort of pinpoint a record that would really epitomize like my style or my love of music. And yeah, there are certain songs or albums that probably resonate a lot with a certain period of your life, and a certain emotion that you feel, right? So I think there are some records that you'd want on if you want to be absolutely happy, or if you feel sad and you feel out. So yeah, it's really hard to kind of sort of pinpoint.
I guess the latest one
was an absolute turning point.
How about the latest one, I guess, or the last one that you've listened to that you...
Okay, so yeah, actually, a friend of ours, he goes under the All Partial. He released a cover of Radio motion picture soundtrack, and I'm gonna get that. I'm probably murdering that title right now. But yeah, he released that song, and it brought me to tears. So I listened to it over and over again. I just put it on repeat that day that it was released, and I was just pulling behind my computer at work because it just struck a chord. So yeah, just the composition. Personally, I feel that it's better than the original. Sorry, Tom York. But it was just it's just all there. So I urge you to go and listen to Partial. He's our friend. He's the drummer for the band Pine. It's spelled Pijn.
I love Pine.
Yeah. So they're our buddies. And we got to tour with them, and it was fun we ever had. We got to hang out in swimming pools in the middle of the summer in the UK, and yeah, it was just really, really awesome. And so he's the drummer of that band. He also plays in Kirsty's Metal Hands. So I think there's like a thread here, but Kirsty's Metal Hands, like they have a track called High Spirits, and that is like a very motivational track for me. Like if it's a tough day and I don't want to get up and drive to the office, then I'd put that song on, and then we can take on anything. So yeah, it's got a very kind of Baroness-y vibe, Baroness Thin Lizzy vibes. Very sort of uplifting, but then very guitar driven. So yeah.
All right,
go check it out.
We'll check it out. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, does anyone else have anything else to say? Because
It's weird because, like, I think online presence is always the online presence. If I plays, but then if you go a bit further, you and I think that's just more authentic, right? Like, you know, it's that then at least you know that it's not just picked up, really like real people on the other side who are really interested in what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for, talking to us. So, yeah, I think we should probably end stuff here because it's midnight here, and I think, excuse me, and I think,
Bless you.
yeah, I think my cats. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, it's midnight here, and I think, yeah, it's. You said.
Thank you
had
so
a couple
much
hours.
for joining us, Isa. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you so much for asking me. Thank you for.
And I
It's
hope
been
to see you in
an
person
absolute.
soon.
Yes, please, Rosa.
Let's make it work out
Love
so
you
you guys
all.
can come here.
Yeah. I'm my day job is lab, and I'm working on it. So I hope to be able to give you so we can meet in.
Cool.
So,
So, yeah, thank you so much. We have one more song to end stuff. Before we go, next week we have Ozga,
Yeah!
which is it's a local band, Isa. You might want to check them out. It's a really good local shoegaze band.
Voice.
Awesome.
So
One more thing to mention. So you guys should
sorry, what was that? You kind of disappeared for a while.
you should check out the band Wonder. They're from the California
Yes.
area. Yeah.
From this,
Yes.
Yeah, check them
we've
out.
heard. Yeah, I think one of
We
the guys
love
are
Wonder,
here,
yeah.
right? Or
No way. Who's here?
I
was
think a friend
was
of
his-
Wonder, Ishan.
was his friend from Wonder? Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got to play with them last year, and they're fantastic. And yeah, Pinoy Pride. So
Quite pride, yeah.
yeah, so definitely check them out. I mean,
Mhm.
got that whole
Yeah.
Socials in the Sky vibes. Yeah.
Yes.
Support your local Pinoys, right?
Mhm.
Support OPM.
Support OPM. Nice maps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice spots.
Yeah, again, thank you so much, Isa. Thank you everyone for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah!
We got one more song to wrap things up. Hopefully we get to see Slow Crush play here in 2022.
Please, please.
Yeah!
Hopefully. Cross
All
fingers.
the fingers and toes crossed. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy.
Take care. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
We got one more song.
Have a
It's
good
called
evening.
Aurora
Bye.
to wrap things up. Good night.